Hello, welcome to this overview of the Business Advisory Services training package that is part of the ESS BIZTOOLS advisory intro package and all of our other packages. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. I hope you've had a wonderful day. The Business Advisory Services training package is similar in its approach to the 33 other product packages within ESS BIZTOOLS. And that is that we have a procedure control form, which I will show you when we go onto the website shortly. We have a key paper, and that's paper 570001, which analyzes the introduction to offering business advisory services. Why is this important? It's important because dealing with clients on advisory services, their day-to-day activities, advising them of their financial position very regularly, bringing to their attention key performance indicators and business metrics, requires accountants who have been working in the public practice arena to develop new knowledge, new skills, and a range of new questions to ask your clients. And also, of course, you will need information to be able to supply your client in answer to their questions. So that's why we've got this special paper, Introduction to Business Advisory Services. We're also going to guide you through the firm foundations as to what advisory services is all about. But I think you need some of the background. There's been a lot of talk about the future of accountancy businesses. That's accountancy businesses primarily offering services to SMEs. Most of those firms are not involved in audits of any large size. Some are obviously offering financial planning advice, and some will be doing audits for schools and sporting organisations and larger proprietary limited companies, especially the ones that have to have audits conducted. And it could be an audit requirement for a company that's raised over $3 million as a crowdsourced funding equity raising company. But the real future, as I see it, is in being able to use today's technology and today's communication facilities to be able to offer a chief financial officer service on a virtual basis to your clients. And that is the future for accountancy businesses. But we're going to track back some of the comments that have been made over the last 40 years. And this whole process started with the Financial Management Research Centre, which was at the University of New England in Armidale, New South Wales, where 40 years ago, they set out with a vision to convince accountants that there was more to supporting SMEs as clients than just preparing an annual set of accounts and an income tax return. We're also going to talk to you about a team member survey, because it's very important that you ascertain what type of work your team are happy to perform. My observation is if you are offering advisory services, you will be very attractive to new candidates to join your team, and you will find retention of talent a lot easier than what it might be at present. And there's a couple other things there that we will also look at. There's a client questionnaire that you could handle. We've made 2 questionnaires, one for accountancy firms, one for business bookkeeping firms, to be able to hand to your clients to get some feedback. We've got some other papers we're going to share with you, so that this whole webinar is about giving you an awareness of what's available within the system that you can then use with team training with your team to develop your skills and approaches to how you're going to deliver these services to your clients. Not everyone will be delivering the same way, just as not every accountancy firm handles taxation returns and annual accounts the same way. So I'm now going to share the screen. And find the material on our website. We've got a crowded website there. My apologies. So I've now gone to our website. On the right in the middle, on the right-hand side, we have the 4 packages that comprise ESS BIZTOOLS. And here are the packages. So the subscriber is just able to click on if they want to know more about crowdsourced funding, equity raising. You click on, you get the content. If you want to know about the personal property securities register, you do likewise. If you want to know the full details of research and development, you can click on and get it. But if you only want to know the introduction, so if you're a subscriber in the introduction area, you'll only get content and you can have a look at it there and so on. But what we're interested in at this stage is the business advisory services training package. I've gone to the subscribe content on the left-hand side so that I can access that. When you go onto the system, there's a preamble that you can read at your leisure. There is a training video you can watch, and we then have the material. So we're going to look at what's in this whole advisory services training package. There are 13 modules that are listed there, all got their own material. We suggest you look at implementing this at about an hour a time, and it will take you about 13 hours. So why not do it once a week and get your team involved in the culture of what this whole business is about, because we're asking them to change their style a little bit from maybe only seeing clients once or twice a year into being in far more contact with them, because you're going to be supplying an advisory services. And some firms have found that you don't need as many clients on this process because your clients' fees will be increasing, and because you'll be supplying a lot more information to your clients. I've just brought up on the screen the introduction to business advisory services, and I'll just slowly click through this. We're going to go back and look at the procedure control form. We're going to have a look at a number of these forms that are listed here. And some of them I mentioned as we went through the preamble. And this approach of how we're looking at here is replicated in the 33 other product packages in ESS BIZTOOLS. And you can see that we've got BAS. BAS is Business Advisory Services, not the other BAS, which the tax office implemented after we were already calling our forms BAS. So the first item I want to go to is the procedure control form. Which I'm now going to bring up on the procedure control form is now on your screen, and this gives a guidance as to how you would go about looking at any of this material to guide you through. You can click onto any of the references and they will take you to that form or that paper. And this allows you to follow through the progress on undertaking a task. Now, obviously, the task here is that you want to ensure that your team is conversant with what the requirements are to deliver advisory services to your clients. There is material included here for the partners of the firm. There's material for the team members. You can see there's a survey form, and we're going to have a look at one of those later on. There's a succession planning form, which we're also going to look at. That's succession within the team, encouraging people to develop new skills and new knowledge, to do some additional reading. The attributes of an A or a B class client. Why are they important? Because you should be trying to get the better clients if you're going to be offering these advanced services. Okay, so I just want to go back now and find a couple of the items that we looked at as we were coming through. So I'll just move back into the beginning of the process, and I want to bring up paper 570001. This is the Business Advisory Services Introduction Package. And this is the key paper in the material for you to look at, an overview, and decide whether this is the style that you wish to implement to be able to offer services to your clients. We include the quote by the recently retired Tax Commissioner, Chris Jordan, who was a former partner of KPMG. So he understands a fair bit about accountancy firms, even though he was in a Big Four firm. And he issued a warning to accountants and bookkeepers at Xerocon 2022, nearly 2 years ago. You must understand that if your business model is high volume, low margin, simple tax returns, your business will not be viable in 3 to 5 years' time. So moving those dates along a bit, Mr. Jordan was really saying, if he was saying it today, 1 to 3 years. That will not take very long to expire. And someone said to me the other day, it's already happening. Of course it's happening. Technology, the changes that are occurring. You should be looking to diversify to remain viable longer term, said Chris Jordan. And then I think his most important comment, focus on becoming a brilliant and trusted advisor. A brilliant and trusted advisor. That was his mandate to the accountancy industry. We also have included with this paper information that was secured from the MYOB surveys, and MYOB used to conduct regular surveys on the accounting industry. And so did CCH. That organisation wrote some very interesting reports 8, 9, 10 years ago. The CommBank wrote an interesting series of articles for about 5 or 6 years. And the NAB, Accounting and Financial Planning Report, has been produced for the last 3 or 4 years. So there's plenty of other people with an interest in what's happening in the accountancy industry as suppliers or bankers who have been taking a close look at our profession and producing material for accountants to be able to use and think about. So I'd suggest that you read that paper if you haven't already done so, if you are a subscriber. And if you're a new subscriber or going to be a new subscriber to ESS BIZTOOLS, please read the material, because it will give you an historical context as to where we sit in delivering this type of services to you, to be able to assist you, to be able to assist your clients to move forward in this way. I also want to look at the vision for accountancy firms, which is contained in this document. What we're looking for is some feedback from your team, from your partners. What services does your firm currently produce? And they could write some notes. So we've segregated this into accountancy services, which is primarily built around taxation, but this includes audit and superannuation funds. Then we got financial planning, and then we start getting into the business advisory services, the chief financial officer services, strategic management consultancy, and then we've listed, because this is a business advisory services presentation, a whole range of activities that fall under the heading of business advisory services, so that you might think this through and decide which of those services that you could implement. We also have available for you the implementing the business advisory services strategy. Which I'm going to show you now. It's important that the partners in your firm sign off on this strategy. You know, this is new, this is rather big. Not all partners will be in agreement. Not all will want to be involved in the delivery of advisory services. Some are very content to remain as auditors or as taxation strategists, planners. But for those of your team that are being interviewed, it's important to get their commitment to a strategy, to think about how you're going to advise your clients and inform your clients that you're offering new services, the financial analysis, the think tanks, to get the message across to your team. If you don't do this, it won't work. It'll fall over because people will claim they don't know what's going on and they lose interest. So I commend that paper to you to look at. The next one I just want to draw to your attention is, I moved through this list, is the checklist for the introduction of business advisory services. I think it's important that you start identifying which clients you could offer business advisory services to. Perhaps there's some industry specializations that you could be developing, because you might find that you have 40 clients in the same industry, or even 100 clients in the same industry. And you could ask yourself, well, is it possible for us to prepare our own benchmarking with the client's permission, of course? But that would be a great service, wouldn't it? If you could say we've analysed the mechanics that we service. And it might even be far better if in your community or suburb, if you're located in a major city, you see if a couple of other accountancy firms want to join you. Highly confidential work, of course, and you might have to have an intermediary handle the actual data processing on the behalf of that group, but it could be a great service for your clients. If you could be able to say to them, well, in the Parramatta and Blacktown, Penrith areas of Greater Sydney, these are the models that we've developed on various industries that we've been able to benchmark. There are suppliers of national benchmark information, but they're looking at a national figure. Some people like the idea of doing it closer to home. What's going on in our immediate area? Food for thought. There's mention of other strategies. Deloitte, who I didn't mention before, wrote a number of interesting reports about 10 years ago, where they identified the whole digital disruption that we've all now been through. And a lot of firms were pre-warned because of their very forthright reports that they prepared. I've left them there for you to link onto and read them if you like, to get the background to all this. So that material's there, which I will leave for you to have a good look at. And I mentioned before getting buy-in from all the partners. I think this is important because obviously you want consensus within a firm. You want people to be aware of what's happening and support it within the firm and outside the firm, even though they might not be directly involved. So we've developed a form for a partner evaluation, which I know might be difficult in some firms to get all partners to cooperate, but I would urge you to try, because even those who don't want to be involved should be aware of the process that's been implemented. Because I believe over a period of 3 to 5 years, business advisory services in most firms will emerge as being the contributor of around 50% of your professional firm's income. And in some firms, it will be higher. In fact, we have some subscribers who are committed to 100% advisory services. They're going to outsource all of their taxation work because they've done their sums and they've got a fair idea where the growth in revenue is going to be in the future. And I tend to agree with them. So that's a form that you could utilize to get some feedback from your partners as to what they want to do and what their interests are in the professional firm. And perhaps you'll find that there is a contribution they can be making. The audit partner might not have realized that crowdsourced funding equity raising companies who have raised more than $3 million from anywhere, not just crowdsourced funding equity raising. So it could have been under Section 708 of the Corporations Act or any other. If they've raised more than $3 million, they must have an auditor appointed. The audit team might be interested in that and do some marketing. But a crowdsourced funding equity raising company that's only raised any amount of money, $500,000, let's say, they could, at a general meeting, resolve to appoint an auditor. And quite frankly, my suggestion to companies who are raising capital is that they appoint an auditor as the way they do business. I think it creates tremendous credibility with the would-be investors if they know that a firm with reputation, a professional audit firm, has been appointed to do the audit. So please think about that. I think it will help you sell this concept to some of your other partners if they're a bit nervous about going into this area. We also have a team member form because just as it's important to get buy-in from your partners, it's also very important to get enthusiastic buy-in from the team members. Now, and another warning, I don't think you'll get 100% commitment from your team, because some team members will say, look, I've spent the last 7 years of my life becoming fairly conversant with the peculiarities of the Tax Act as they affect SMEs, or in superannuation, I've become an expert. And I don't want to lose that expertise advantage that I've got. And that's, we can accept that, because there is some extra reading that people are going to have to do in their non-direct working time, most of it. Reading the financial review, keeping up to date with what's going on. The financial review is not just full of articles for the big end of town. There's some very interesting articles that appear for SMEs, and they're your client base. They're the ones you're wanting to support, that you've got to support. So The team member survey form is trying to find out what they want to do. Is this process going to make it easy to attract talent and retain the talent? Or is it going to work the other way? If you ever find that out, please let me know, because that is not what I expect, and it's not what any other firm that I've dealt with. But please don't keep all this work to the partners and hold it close to your chest. You need to delegate it out to the team. They need to get involved. You're the chief financial officer. All chief financial officers have teams of accountants. I was the chief financial officer in a listed public company. I had 13 accountants working for us full-time in various parts of the 3 eastern states. And in head office, we had another 2 accountants. So transfer that to an SME. It's not just the partner doing all the work. The team will be involved. You need to bring them in. And we need to economize how the time is going to be spent on the job. Otherwise, there could be significant cost blowouts. So they need to be involved. They need to understand. So let's ask them, what do they like about their job? What's their dissatisfaction? Have they got a particular skill or knowledge that the firm might not even be aware of, or you're not using? One of my clients found that they had a very capable lady working for them who had a degree in journalism, and in fact had worked as a journalist in a major newspaper, and found that she didn't quite like it. Then she went back to uni and did commerce and ultimately become a chartered accountant. But she volunteered in this process that she had the skills and knowledge to be a journalist. So the partner said to her, would you be prepared to write some articles for us? She said, oh, yeah, as long as it's, I don't want to go through the 40-hour-a-week process of being a journalist, but if it's a couple of articles a month or even a week, I'm quite happy to do that, because I now understand it a lot better. I understand accountancy a lot better than what I would have when I was a journalist. So they found that out. There could be other people in your team. So what we're trying to do then is to get the team members' comments. What are they happy on being involved in? Now, some people will just click under the accountancy services. I'll warn you of that now. And others might click under the business advisory services, but a few months later, they realise that this is not all just fun time and nice lunches and plenty of beer and wine and so on. There's serious work to be done, and it does take effort. And in lots of cases, some of the clients at first are going to be a bit suspicious about all this. Your firm for years have been doing their annual accounts, very nice presentation in a profit and loss account and balance sheet, and perhaps you've been undertaking quarterly accounts and preparing their tax returns. But now you're saying to them, well, we can be your CFO, so that we're going to implement systems that run from daily and then weekly and then monthly financial accounts compared back to budgets and cash flow forecasts, which are also going to be done each year. That is the package. So some of your clients or some of the client staff might be a bit apprehensive about this. So your team members need to be warned of this and need to be able to communicate and give them an assurance that your firm is able to assist them, that what you're doing is offering a service at a lower cost to what it would cost them to employ a full-time, experienced chief financial officer on their payroll. And a lot of them would not have enough work for that person on a full-time basis, and that person would get bored and would go seeking somewhere else that will meet their professional challenges that they require. So think about it. There's a form that you could use to undertake that process. I wanted to share with you because it follows on from what we just talked about. BAS 009 is our succession planning form. Now, this is succession planning within the firm. It's the job situation questionnaire. Who needs some specific mentoring or training if they're going to be able to step up and become a manager or a person that can become your industry expert in a component of this process. And perhaps they need to undertake the Institute of Company Directors Diploma course, or understand more about corporate governance, or join a junior chamber of commerce, or join Toastmasters so they can improve their public speaking skills. Perhaps they need some leadership training, and there's plenty of leadership trainers around. Perhaps they need a bit of a nudge and encouragement to get more corporate governance experience by becoming a director or the secretary of a external organization, be it a sporting or public service, charity, not-for-profit, churches. All gives people some very interesting experience. So you could look at using that form to guide you on that process. We also have the, pardon me, BAS 010, which is a checklist of the attributes of A and B class clients that you could process to really try to decide, do you want to take on this new client? Or who should we be targeting by inviting them to some presentations? Are they the sort of clients that we're looking for? Firms do this. And we've included that document in the system. There's also a client questionnaire that I want to briefly refer to. I can't get that to open, but I can assure you it does open, and it just has decided that it won't do that at this time. We'll try the next one, see if it's going to work. So that's a checklist of some of the products that you might be interested in providing. So we've listed a whole range of products. This will assist you in preparing some material to talk to your clients about. The whole range of activities there. Once you really get into advisory services, you'll be amazed how much work there is and how many clients really need assistance. We have one subscriber who's a sole practitioner, has 3 or 4 staff, has about a dozen clients, and they're primarily servicing them, and the partner owner basically services those firms. So there's a whole range of services you can provide to help your clients. So what I now want to do is just go back to our material and just refer back to this. We've worked our way through this checklist. I haven't clicked on every item, of course. They're there for you to have a look at, and hopefully you can do so. If you have any questions on what's included in this package, or indeed the packages within ESS BizTools, please don't hesitate to contact me. Send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or make a telephone call, 07 4724 1118. If you would like to have a complimentary Zoom meeting, 20 to 40 minutes, whereby we can go through and look at some of the details in more detail, perhaps you could identify specific things you would like to have a look at, please contact us and we can organise that. So thank you very much for being with us, and I look forward to hearing from you if you're interested in proceeding further on business advisory services delivery to your clients in 2024-25, as soon as you're able to make contact with us. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye.